For over 2,000 years, the world has hunted for one secret, the final resting place of Cleopatra. Legends painted a tomb of unimaginable wealth, a hidden chamber filled with gold, jewels, and ancient magic, guarded by the spirits of Egypt. But for centuries, it was just that, a legend. Every lead went cold. Every expedition came up empty-handed. It seemed the last queen of Egypt had taken her greatest secret to the grave. But what if I told you that's no longer the case? What if I told you that after 2 millennia of searching, the tomb has finally been found, and what they discovered inside is more shocking than any legend ever dared to imagine? The story begins not with a grand expedition, but with a quiet, persistent archaeologist named Dr. Kathleen Martinez. For nearly 20 years, everyone in her field thought she was crazy, while others scoured the sands near Alexandria, where Cleopatra lived and died. Martinez had a radical theory. She believed Cleopatra, a master of symbolism and a devout follower of the goddess Isis, wouldn't have chosen an ordinary burial. She would have wanted to be laid to rest with her lover, Mark Antony, in a place sacred to Isis, a place where their souls could be reborn together in the afterlife. Her focus landed on a crumbling, windswept temple complex almost 30 miles outside Alexandria, Taposiris Magna. The name itself means Great Tomb of Osiris, the husband of Isis. For years, Martinez and her team meticulously excavated the site. They found coins bearing Cleopatra's face, statues of Isis, and secret tunnels beneath the temple floor. The world watched, intrigued but skeptical. They were finding clues, sure, but a royal tomb. The tomb, it still seemed like a long shot. Then, one sweltering afternoon, they hit something. Not gold, not a sarcophagus, but water. They had broken into a flooded chamber deep beneath the temple. Using advanced ground-penetrating radar and underwater cameras, they peered into the murky depths. And that's when the world stopped turning. The initial images were grainy, almost abstract. But as they enhanced the data, shapes began to form. It wasn't a single chamber, but a vast, multi-level necropolis, perfectly preserved by the water that had hidden it from grave robbers for centuries. And at its heart, 2 large dark shapes stood side by side. Sarcophagi, one adorned with Roman eagles, the other with Egyptian cobras, Antony and Cleopatra. But here's where the story takes a turn that no one, not even Dr. Martinez, could have predicted. The treasure wasn't gold or jewels. In fact, the tomb was surprisingly austere. The real treasure was what was written on the walls. Using submersible drones, they translated the hieroglyphs covering every inch of the chamber. This wasn't a standard Book of the Dead. It was Cleopatra's personal diary, her final testament, and it rewrites history. The inscriptions reveal that her famous suicide wasn't an act of despair. It was a calculated, ritualistic act. She didn't use an aspi, a creature of the desert. The carvings depict her using the venom of a pufferfish, a neurotoxin that induces a state of suspended animation, mimicking death. It was a final, desperate gamble. The plan, orchestrated with her most loyal priests of Isis, was for her and Antony's bodies to be taken to Taposiris Magna. There, in the heart of the temple during a specific celestial alignment, a secret ritual was to be performed to reverse the poison and bring them back. It was a bid for immortality. Not in the afterlife, but right here on Earth. So did it work? The final inscription is the most chilling part of all. It's a single hurried line carved separately from the rest near the chamber's exit. It reads, "The ritual failed. The second dose was too late for him. I walk alone." The tomb of Cleopatra wasn't the end of her story. It was the beginning of a new, lonely, and completely unknown chapter. The discovery isn't about a dead queen and her lover. It's about a survivor. A woman who outsmarted death itself, only to lose everything in the process. They didn't find a body in her sarcophagus. They found evidence that she walked out of her own tomb, leaving Antony behind and vanished into history for a second time. The hunt for Cleopatra isn't over. It has only just begun.